All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Ivan was an old bear tracker. Tom was a man with dreams. And Ernie came along and I wrote the songs about a creature that few's ever seen. Monsters, myths, and mysteries, legend, tales, and facts. It brought us all together, and it's a reason for the fact. Up in North California, where the redwoods reach the skies, three men with a goal and a pact that they'd hold, and a promise till the day that they died. Answers to the questions no one's found before. Driving determination, the only key they had to unlock the door. Monsters, myths, and mysteries, legends, tales, and facts. What brought them together? Reason for the fact.
And welcome back to hour number 2 of tonight's show here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, and on your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM, whose studios are just down the street from us on Lake Street at the corner of Lake and Lake and Ontario Street. They stream us. That's right, around the world. Classic1220.ca. Well, tonight's second hour and another thrilling episode here in the X Zone, where the unknown becomes known. Well, sometimes, not all the time. In this hour, we dive deep into the mysterious world of the paranormal with our special guest, Paul Dale Roberts, the founder of Halo Paranormal Investigations. With years of experience unraveling the secrets of the supernatural, Paul will share spine-chilling encounters, the techniques used in ghost hunting, and the latest findings from some of the most haunted locations. All right, Exo Nation, so listen, this is what I want you to do. Turn down the lights, settle in, and prepare to journey back here into the X Zone on the X Zone Radio Show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, and my special guest, Paul Dale Roberts. He's in California, and he's the founder, like I said, of Halo Paranormal Investigations. And Paul, welcome back to the X Zone.
Thank you, Rob. Love being here.
I thought maybe you were abducted by aliens because you were so quiet.
No, not quite. But
Paul,
I wish I was, because I like to get some answers.
Ah. Oh, okay, Paul. Tell me, I've had you on the show a number of times, but we do have a lot of new affiliates and networks that are with us now. So can you tell us about your background and how you became involved in the paranormal and paranormal investigations?
Well, as a young child, I lived on Effie Street in Fresno, California, and the house that I lived in was very haunted. The entities were centered on me. They even pushed me into a heater. They were calling my name and mimicking my mother's voice. So it sounded like she was saying, and they were calling me by my middle name, Dale. That's why my parents called me Dale. And she was saying, Dale, come here. Dale, come here. She was trying to entice me to go into that orange grove. If I went into that orange grove, I would have probably wind up missing or jumping into a portal for all I know. As I got older, I started reading books on the paranormal because I wanted to know the things that happened to me at that house. Was it childhood nightmares?
Yeah.
Or did I actually witness something paranormal? So I was reading books by Brad Steiger. I got into Chariots of the Gods with Eric von Däniken, and just wanted to know. And as things turned out, I went into the Army. I was working with the drug suppression team. I was an MP, military policeman, working undercover narcotics in Germany. That's where my investigative skills came in. And so I was traveling throughout Germany buying drugs for a CID, Criminal Investigation Division, drug suppression team.
Right.
And then I got out. I got out in '76.
Mm-hmm.
From '76, '79. Well, believe it or not, I was this popular disco dancer with the Guinness Book World Records of dancing 205 hours. Um, and in 1979, I went, disco died. I went back into the Army. I went military intelligence. I was a 97 Bravo intelligence analyst. And while there, on one particular day, 6 photographs came in of what appeared to be UFOs taken by our reconnaissance satellites. And they were part of a bigger picture. Each photo was part of a video of what these satellites captured, and was 6 different type of UFOs. And on the back of the photograph it said intelligent movement. So I knew at that point in time that military intelligence knew something about UFOs. And even though that Project Blue Book closed down in 1969, the military was still investigating UFOs. And then, as when I got out in 1986, at some point in time, I met this ghost hunter. They invited me to uh, go on this ghost hunt at the National Hotel, to write an article about it, which I did,
Mm-hmm.
and it was published in 3 British magazines. And the person who was the head of the group was so impressed, she says, "Well, you're going to be our ghostwriter." And before I knew it, I became a paranormal investigator. I took over the group, Halo Paranormal Investigations, and rest is history.
So where did you have time to get any sleep or have a personal life with everything you were doing, my disco maniac?
I absolutely, well, dancing 8.5 days, I didn't require that much sleep when I was younger.
Uh huh.
Uh, yeah, I'm older now, Robert, so now I require some sleep. So I'll go to bed now about
Uh
midnight,
huh.
the latest maybe 1 in the morning.
So what you're telling me is that as we get older, we're supposed to sleep more?
It seems that way. That's how it works with me.
What the hell am
I'm
I doing
retired.
wrong? What the hell am I doing wrong? I finish here on air at midnight. Takes me 10 minutes to get home. I have a cup of coffee to keep me awake until about 2 or 3, and then I'm up at 7.
Oh my
What the
goodness.
hell am I doing wrong? And by the way, Paul, you're a smart man. You're well traveled. You've gone all over the world. Besides being the disco king, uh, why do they call these the golden years?
You know, that really beats the heck out of me. I mean, gosh. I mean, what's so golden about it? You're older now,
Yeah,
and you don't do all the things that you used to do when you were younger.
right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm retired now from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. That was my last job with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. And I was glad I worked there because I got to talk to so many people in law enforcement
Hmm.
in different states, and they had a lot of different stories.
Really?
Yeah, of things of the paranormal. When they were talking to me, because I was the custodian of records, so any type of legal thing, if they were investigating a hunter, a fisherman, or something like that,
Hmm.
they came to me for the records.
Ah,
Yeah, and I would give my stamp of approval saying this is a true copy, and sent it out to the Alaskan State Police or whoever was talking to me that wanted these records. And talking to some of these enforcement officers, they they were very surprised. They said, "Oh my God, you're this paranormal investigator. This is something I've never told anybody because I didn't want to be laughed at, people making fun of me or
Hmm.
whatever, but this is what I seen, or this is what I witnessed, or this is what I heard." And so I actually got a lot of good stories from these enforcement officers.
Well, you know what, Paul? Here at the X Zone in our parent company, Relmar McConnell Media Company, we have a 1-800 line that is dedicated for people calling us in with paranormal activity or paranormal questions, and I have two members of the staff that man the lines 24/7, 365. And if there isn't a day that goes by where we don't have 10 to 15 calls, something is wrong. And they all start with, you know what? You're not going to believe this, but. And there's so
Yes.
many stories out there, Paul. And it's because of people like you and your paranormal investigations that you do, with the credibility that you and other paranormal investigators have, and UFO investigators like my good friend Kevin Randall, that these people do not fear coming forward anymore because they know that there's people like you and like I said, Kevin and the others that we have here on the show who believe because they've had the experience not only as experiencers but as investigators, and the paranormal and experiences that they have, whether it's with Bigfoot, whether it's with psychic phenomenon, whether it's with extraterrestrial CE5, more and more people around the world are having the courage to come forward and report these. And like I said, it's because of people like you and the other investigators who do it professionally. There's a lot of hacks out there that, they're doing it because they're bored or they want to get some excitement into their boring lives. But they detract from the credibility of the investigators who were doing their very best to investigate and try to find answers to these questions that have, puzzled people for hundreds of years.
Oh, absolutely, Rob. Um, I what I did, like when I was working at California Department of Fish and Wildlife,
Hmm.
if anybody told me any stories or anything about the paranormal things that they encountered or whatever, I took notes. And so I have an archive of notes that I can fall back on to write my articles for the various magazines that I work with. So, um, and
Hey,
one of
Paul. Paul,
yeah,
I hate to do this, but I just got a cue from my producer that we have to take a break, so please stand by, my friend.
yeah, yeah,
Exo
yeah.
Nation, the one and only Paul Dale Roberts is my special guest, and he is the founder of Halo Paranormal Investigations, and we're going to be talking to Paul more about his investigations, his exploration. And Paul, I want to thank you very much for your service, as well as to all the members of the military around the world who fight for freedom and democracy. Thank you for your service. We'll be back on the other side of this break, so whatever you do, don't go away.
Ivan was an old bear tracker. Tom was a man with dreams. Out in the swamps, what you think I've seen? Something strange, Sasquatch sitting on a cypress knee, and he was talking to Moccasin Joe. Well, the party they gonna have out in the St. John swamps. Sasquatch doing a brand new dance, and he called it the Bigfoot Stomp. Do the Bigfoot boogie, yeah, the Bigfoot boogie. Ain't nothing but a Sasquatch dancing around to do the Bigfoot boogie in the Fairview ground.
All right, this message is for all those who listen to us on AM at 1220 Classic, 1220 CFAJ If you're driving around Ontario, or if you're driving around the northern parts of the states of New York and Pennsylvania, and you're listening to the radio show right now, and you're listening to my good buddy Philip Malborough, who's known as Ramblin' Jack, singing Bigfoot Boogie, please, no dancing in the cars. No dancing on the sides of the QEW. Because what happens is I get calls from the OPP saying, Rob, your listeners are doing it again. So please, guys, do yourself a favor. There's plenty of places to park, plenty of places to dance, but not on the highways.
I woke up last night to a terrible sound. Well, a whole lot of noise, something shaking the ground. I crept in this morning.
Oh, there you go, Exo Nation. The Bigfoot Boogie. I wonder if that could also be a Bigfoot Boogeyman. That would be a different song now, wouldn't it? For all of those of you who are UFO enthusiasts and who like to get into the real crux of research, great news. Kevin Randall is coming back starting in 2 weeks, I believe, with his award-winning show, A Different Perspective. We're going to be doing the radio show and the TV show again. And if you'd like to listen to any of Kevin's past radio shows here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, simply go to www.xzbn.net. In fact, all the shows that we have produced over the years here at the X-Zone Broadcast Network, which is part of Relmar McConnell Media Company, are available for you to listen to with our compliments. No charge, no fees, no nothing. All you need to do is go to xzbn.net. In fact, Craig just told me that in the X-Zone show area, there's over 15,000 shows. All free. There you go. My guest, Paul Dale Roberts, is no stranger to danger. Oh, I like that. No stranger to danger. He is a legend when it comes to disco dancing. In fact, I understand that he actually went toe-to-toe with the disco duck. And Paul, welcome back to the show. Always great having you. And what was it like being a disco star?
When I would walk into a nightclub,
Yeah.
everybody would give me a high five. And when disco died,
Yeah.
then nobody wanted to talk to me anymore.
Oh, come on. Really?
Yeah, that was it. Yes, when disco died, they did not want to be associated with disco.
Oh,
So
my gosh.
that was it. That was it.
That just brought a tear to my eye.
Right now, I'm just crying my eyes out right now.
But you know what? You were part of history, and I think that's really great.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah.
you can actually go and look at disco Wikipedia,
Mm-hmm.
go down into dancing, and you'll see my name right there.
Wow. Well, you've accomplished so much in your life. What does it feel like when you sit back and you sit down with your wife and your friends, and you talk about your life? It must make you very proud, a law enforcement officer, a disco dancer that's well recognized, an award winning, now a paranormal investigator. You're an author. You're a journalist. What does that feel like, Paul?
Well, sometimes if I talk too much,
Uh-huh.
they say, "Boy, I wish Paul would just kind of keep quiet and let us talk."
I get that too. So you and I are in the same boat, old friend.
Oh yeah, and you're very accomplished yourself, Rob. I mean, God, you've done everything.
Well, not yet, my friend, but I certainly do have a long bucket list, and I've always been a dreamer, and my mother and father, God bless them both, taught my brother and I that the only difference between a dream and reality was making it happen.
That is so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. I mean, yeah, if you dream something, then go after it. If that's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you wouldn't be dreaming about it.
That is true. Now we were supposed to have a guest on with you, Paul, Tim Swartz. Tell us a little bit about Tim.
Tim, okay, when he gets on your show, you're gonna just really love it. He's been on Ancient Aliens
Hmm.
on the History Channel. He's been on History's Greatest Mysteries, and he was just recently on History's Greatest Mysteries talking about Nikola Tesla, who
Woo.
died in 1943,
Hmm.
and he had the FBI found that he had 80 trunks of classified scientific documents. And so the FBI they confiscated all 80 trunks,
Hmm.
and there was the Tesla Museum, and they sent 60 of these trunks back to them. So what happened to the other trunks? Where did they go? So the government probably has them. And why would
Hmm.
they take them? Did it have something to do with the paranormal? Uh, I mean, Nikola Tesla even thought he was talking to extraterrestrials. So was there something there on time travel or contact with extraterrestrials? Um, it's very interesting, and so they were talking about what happened to those missing trunks. Um, he also too Tim was involved with stories on time travel and mimics. And the mimics, like the one mimic who I just told you about, who was impersonating my mother
Yes,
and
yeah.
trying to entice me to go into the orange grove.
Why do you think they wanted to entice you into the orange grove? Do you think something sinister was going to happen?
Oh yeah, something very nefarious. They were going to do something to me, and you would I wouldn't even be talking to you now. They would probably had kidnapped me as a little child, done experiments with me and whatever. Yeah, so I am so glad I didn't go into the orange grove.
Well, so am I, Paul, because I truly enjoy talking to you, and I respect the articles that you write and the investigations that you do. Paul, what to this point in time has been the most memorable case you've worked on?
Oh gosh, so many.
Give me the top three.
Okay, well, Area 51, Skinwalker Ranch, and the house in Citrus Heights.
All right, let's go to Area 51 first. What happened there, and what did you find that made this case number one on the Paul Dale Roberts list of top mysteries?
Well, going over to Area 51, we went to the Alien,
Hmm.
which is near Area 51, and the people were so nice, the owners, and they let us camp out in their parking lot.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had a night watch looking for UFOs. A couple of investigators said that they actually saw some starlight type UFOs moving erratically in the night sky. I didn't see it because I was busy inside interviewing some people. I talked to one gentleman who claimed that he did work at Area 51,
Hmm.
that he would take a bus into Area 51, and on the bus, all the windows were blacked out. And he said on that bus, he would see Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar, he confirmed it, saying that he actually did work at Area 51 at S4. He had no knowledge of what was going on at S4, but Bob Lazar, if you listen to him, he's saying that they were reverse engineering UFOs, and they had a series of different UFOs over there. Um, so I talked to him. That was very interesting.
I'm sure it would be.
Yeah. And then I talked to this lady who said that they have a lot of sonic booms, which is natural
Hmm.
because you're at this secretive air base, and they have probably a lot of top secret aircraft that make sonic booms. So, okay, that's cool. Then she said that on one particular day, a craft came down at eye level, and she could see in the cockpit this human figure, and he waved at her. And then the craft that she was looking at, that was at eye level, zipped up into the sky, punched a hole into the clouds, and vanished. So that was kind of interesting. And she swore up and down that actually happened.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we went up to the gate, and I had my binoculars. I was looking up on the hillside, and then I see a guy in camis, and he has a sniper rifle pointing right at me. And I said, "Oh, I'm not going to say what I said."
Right.
Yeah. And I said, "We need to get out of here." I said, "The guy over there has a sniper rifle and he's pointing at us." And as we zipped out of there, um, two of my investigators said on the hillside they could see a disc shaped UFO flying on the hillside. Again, I did not see that, but that's what they claim.
Hmm.
And so I don't know, maybe so, I don't know. Um, we also too did a ghost hunt over there. The people at the Alien, the owners, took us into an abandoned village, and they didn't have any answer on why the village was abandoned. And they said it was very haunted, and I did get some EVPs. One house, there was a bird flying inside the house, and I became the hero and captured the bird and released it outside. Um,
Wow.
what else? Oh, we were working with a popular UFO group, and
All
they
right.
wanted us.
Hold on. We're going to have to take a break. We'll come back to working with the popular UFO group. Interesting story, especially the lady who had the experience with the craft at eye level.
Yes, yes.
Paul Dale Roberts is our guest. Halo Paranormal Investigations is the name of his investigation group. And if you'd like more information about Paul, all you need to do is just Google his name, Paul Dale Roberts, or Google, you ready? Halo Paranormal Investigations. We'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, and of course on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, CFAJ AM 1220, streaming us at classic1220.ca.
Marcus and George, he's running his gun. Stan the snake, he's playing the bass. And he'd be partying all over the place. Oh, Gator Ralph, he'd riding his bow. And he'd be jamming with Marcus and Joe. What's it take to be a believer? Tell me who's to say. You think that we'd have come this far, looking back on yesterday? Because you hadn't seen sun, you tend to disbelieve. Though you've never known death, when someone dies, you grieve. Though you never seen the good Lord, there's ones that worship Him each day. Find them in the chapels and on their knees to pray. What's it take to be a believer? Tell me who's to say. You think that we'd come this far, looking back on yesterday?
And welcome back. Paul Dale Roberts is our guest. And Paul, what's your website? How can people find out more about you online?
Actually, I just did away with the website because I actually don't need it anymore. Um, I simply tell people just to Google my name, Paul Dale Roberts. They'll see a lot of my articles pop up. All my contact information are in all of my articles. You'll find my telephone number, email address, everything. So I'm a very much an open book.
All right, before we went to the break, we were just going to talk about an investigation you did with a UFO group.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah, this one popular UFO group, I can't think of their name right now, but they asked me to go ahead and get some soil samples. And so I did. I got the soil samples near the gate, and um, which was really weird. The soil had little tiny wires in it.
Hmm.
And so the UFO group thinks that somehow the ground was eradicated for whatever purpose, and that's why the wires are in there. But that really doesn't give us an answer to what the purpose of the wires were in the ground. So yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Now, you continuously do paranormal investigations, and where has been the last paranormal investigation that you did, Paul?
Um, this gentleman, um, his name is Marcus Littles, and he actually lives in Elk Grove, where I live at.
Hmm.
And he was haunted by what he thinks is fairies. Um, on his security camera, he he has these creatures, the little flying creatures, flying all around his backyard and into his home. He says that one of them manifested into something that was dark and demonic. And so I look at the footage and everything, and on uh, one of the films that he had, it looked like what is called a rod. Are you familiar with a rod?
Yeah, sure, because they were first recognized by Jose Escamilla, who recorded them. They're known as the Roswell rods.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, one of them looks like a rod. As for fairies, to me, Rob, it looked like bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was claiming up and down that one of them manifested into something demonic, and they were scared. I was going to go ahead and bless the house, but then his mother said that she's a medium and she knew how to bless the house. So, from what she was telling me, it sounded like it was correct. And she blessed the house, and the paranormal activity has simmered down.
Paul, how much of the paranormal, in your opinion, has actually been manifested in the minds of those who are claiming to have the experience? And the events have nothing to do with the paranormal, it's just in their minds.
To be honest with you, Rob, I would say, of all my investigations, about 80% is from their mind, and 20% is really paranormal.
So how do you determine whether it's an actual paranormal event or someone misinterpreting the event?
Uh, it's it's well, it seems like uh, from my investigations, in the first 30 minutes, I do what is called an EVP sweep, electronic voice phenomenon sweep of the whole house.
Hmm.
And I do what is called a quick and dirty EVP session. So I'll say something simple. Is there anyone here? I pause, give it time to talk, and play back. And usually I'll get a voice. If the place is really haunted, I should get an EVP within 30 minutes. If I don't get an EVP in 30 minutes, most likely the house is not haunted. And we also too we take a lot of photographs and everything else. We look for anomalies in our photographs. We also too, like, you get a lot of pictures of orbs. Well, orbs can be almost anything. It could be dust, it could be skin flakes, it could be light refractions, dewdrops, lint, name it. It could be almost anything. But what we do is we look for intelligent movement. So I'll place my hand up against the wall and I
Hmm.
say, if you're listening to me, appear by my hand. And a photograph is taken, a photo is taken, and there's an orb on my hand. That showed intelligent movement. That's something I can deem as paranormal.
What is your personal belief, Paul, regarding the existence of ghosts and spirits?
Energy is forever, and as we walk around here, our whole body is covered in this aura of this energy. And that energy, when you die, it has to kind of go someplace.
Hmm.
So it leaves your body, your deceased body, it floats around. And what's kind of interesting is like you hear about reincarnation stories.
Yes.
Well, when a child is born upon the world, and this doesn't happen to all children, but they have these little psychic antennas. And let's say John Henry back in 1890 was a blacksmith and he died. Well, his energy is floating around in the atmosphere. And this little baby with his or her psychic antennas
Hmm.
picks picks up the information, downloads the information of John Henry, who died in 1890. And this little child recalls all the things that John Henry did as a blacksmith because this little baby downloaded the information. And that's what reincarnation is.
So the baby just downloads the information from a spiritual thumb drive, let's say,
Yeah,
but it isn't in fact the reincarnation of the blacksmith. Only the information is relayed to the child, and that is what the child is relaying as reincarnation. Right?
absolutely. And it
Gotcha.
seems like a lot of these people who are reincarnated, the memory of who they think they were in the past is really strong. But as they get older,
Hmm.
it starts fading away because that energy is leaving their body and it's back in the atmosphere again.
Something like a dream. A dream, when you have the dream and you wake up, you can remember most of it. But as the day goes on, unless you write it down, the majority of the dream just fades away unless it's something really bad like a nightmare that was really really bad and scared the hell out of you when you woke up in a cold sweat and so on and so forth.
Right, absolutely. Right.
How do you think paranormal phenomena relates to our understanding of life and death, Paul?
um, well, when you actually get evidence of the afterlife, a
Hmm.
ghost or something like that, it for me, it makes me feel reassured that life continues. We have the life right now with our bodies, and we can touch our bodies and everything else, pick up things. We're human. But when we're gone, you get into the spiritual realm, and there's this other life, which is really nice to know that our lives continue.
When you're doing your paranormal investigations, what are some of the stories you hear from the other side?
Um, well, one case was kind of interesting is that the ghost of the house, she actually communicated with me through my recorder, and I asked her if she wanted to go into the light, and she said no. And I said, why not?
Hmm.
And she said, I will be judged. And whatever sins that she committed while she was a living human being, she was scared to go into the light because I feel like you have a choice of going into the light or not going into the light. And she felt like she went into the light, she would meet her maker, her God,
Right.
and her God would judge her for her past sins and send her into hell.
Didn't she know that all she had to do was ask for forgiveness?
Um, which I explained to her, but there was no response to that.
Ah, interesting. I've got about a minute before I take my final break here, Paul. How many investigations would you estimate that you've done personally as well as with other investigation teams?
I think I've been on something like 2,500
Oh,
investigations.
my Lord.
Yeah.
That's quite an accomplishment, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. And X Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Paul Dale Roberts. And like Paul was saying, to find out more about him, all you need to do is just go and Google his name. All the information is there. He's got some great articles. What I suggest you do is get yourself a nice cup of coffee, take your time, and go and find out all the things that this man has accomplished over his lifetime. And he continues to be one of the most active paranormal investigators out there to this very day. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until midnight, right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, and of course your hometown radio, Classic 1220 CFAJ AM, right here in St. Catharines. And they stream us at classic1220.ca. Don't go away.
Yesterday, because you hadn't seen sun, you tend to disbelieve. Though you've never known death, when someone dies you grieve. Though you never seen the good Lord, there's ones that worship him each day. Find them in the chapels and on their knees to pray. What's it take? Night was dark in the mountains, as the story goes. An Indian tale brought them out where only the Sasquatch goes. The moon was playing hide and seek, made the shadows come and go, looking for something they thought they'd find on the Bernie Creek Forest Road. The stories that intrigued them, they'd heard around the bar. Indian chant, an old black witch, and a man that was marked with scars. Three of them went looking for things they shouldn't see. Anymore, I just don't know, 'cause they all went with me. No one knows that they found him. Time to time I see his tracks out there in the Cascades, but none of them ever made it back.
Paul Dale Roberts is our guest of this hour, X Zone Nation. And first of all, Paul, thanks very much for coming back on the show. It's always a great pleasure having you with us. And as I said to you during the break, that we'll have to get another date and time when Tim can join us and, you know, tell us all about the research that he's done as well as his books that he has available.
Thank you, Rob. I love being here. And yes, you will be fascinated with some of the stories that Tim has. So, yeah, it'll be a good show.
Paul, when you and the Halo group go out to do an investigation, how many investigators are there in total that go?
At one time, we had something like 50 investigators.
Wow.
And I was one of those type of people saying, yeah, come along, you know. So I was inviting a lot of people to go on. Let's say there was like this rock quarry. so it can accommodate a lot of people. So yeah, all 50 people showed up. We had all these people walking around the rock quarry where miners were injured or died a sudden death while they're out there working on those rocks. So, and then I broke it down to about 10 investigators. So, and right now I keep it really small, maybe three or five.
What would you say is the number one thing to do when you're investigating a residence looking for paranormal activity?
Well, the first thing that we do is we get the story.
Hmm.
So we all sit around and let the occupant tell us everything that's going on. If we have any questions, we go ahead and ask right there on the spot. And then we also too we invite the occupant to go with us on the investigation, to walk around the house and see what we can find. And any evidence that we get, we actually show the evidence on the spot. We don't say, okay, we're going to analyze this and we'll get back with you in a week. We do it right there on the spot so they can see what's going on. And then afterwards, and even if the place isn't haunted, we still bless the house. I'll do a Roman Catholic house blessing, and if they have a demonic attachment or feel like they have a demonic attachment, I will give them a full submersion baptism. And that is a basic form of exorcism. And whatever attachment they have will leave.
How do you do the baptism? Do you have to
Oh,
be a special member of a clergy to do it, or how
oh,
is it done?
oh, I'm not ordained, but and during the time I was in the service, I was friends with these two priests, and they were quite the characters. They would smoke their cigarettes, and we would talk about paranormal things.
Hmm.
And they had a book on blessing houses, and I said, "Can I borrow that book?" And they said, "Why?" I said, "I don't know. I just want to read it." And they said, "Okay, yeah, go ahead and make sure you return it." So I read this book. Little did I know that one day I was going to utilize the information from this book on my paranormal investigations, blessing houses.
Wow. When you go on an investigation, do you bring a Bible? Do you bring a crucifix? Do you bring holy water? A
Yeah,
silver bullet?
holy water, crucifix, and yeah, and I do. I have a Bible too. And one thing is, uh, I totally believe in angels. I believe that angels are here to watch over us, to
Mhm.
protect us, call them watchers, whatever you want to call them. But I do believe that they're here and they'll help you in your time of need. And if you're like, say, oh, I'm praying to my angel, I
Mhm.
want to win the lottery. Well, that ain't going to work. But if you're in a dire need, let's say one of your loved ones is hospitalized or in life and death situation, you're praying, that praying will be heard and an angel will save you. And the reason why I totally believe in angels is because um, uh, one time back in the 80s, I was with my family. We were at the Sacramento River. And I was laying on one of those plastic rafts.
Mhm.
And here comes a speedboat, and the plastic raft that I was laying on flips over. Well, Rob, I'm not a good swimmer. I might be a good disco dancer, but I'm not a good swimmer.
Okay.
I sunk all the way down
Ooh.
to the bottom of the river, and I swear up and down, but I felt two hands on my chest, and they actually pushed me up upon the beach. Saved my life because I was gone. I was going to drown. And I looked at my family. I said, "I almost drowned. Did you guys see me?" And they thought I was joking around and they were playing volleyball and laughing and everything else. It, they didn't even care. But yeah, I almost drowned, and I feel like I was saved by an angel.
There's a lot of people who have similar experiences being saved by an angel. And how can you dispute it? So many people tell the same story, tell the same experience, tell the same feeling. That out of nowhere this angel appeared. After the danger was over, the angel disappeared. It's hard to understand, but it's easy to believe.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And like when I do the investigations and when I do, and also too, Rob, it's like I'm not a practicing Catholic. Um, I can't even remember the last time I went to church. But I totally believe in angels. I
Hmm.
believe in prayer.
Yeah.
And and look at your extraterrestrials. They communicate with telepathy. They enter your mind. They communicate with you, and it seems like the angels do the same thing. You pray to them, and it's like a telepathy type thing. Uh, and in your time of need, they'll come and help you.
Hmm. Is it possible that the angels of yesteryear are the ETs of today?
Very possible. Even Billy Graham, when he was confronted by a reporter and they asked him what he thought about UFOs,
Hmm.
he even said those could be possible vehicles for the angels. So even Billy Graham thought angels could be extraterrestrials. And if you look at it, angels were not born on Earth. They're not terrestrial. They are from the heavens. And if they're from the heavens, that makes them extraterrestrial.
It does. That truly does. Paul, have you noticed any patterns in how location history affects the reported paranormal activity?
Um, Not really. I mean, I think the government is getting a little bit more open,
Mm-hmm.
like with UFOs and stuff like that. I mean, they admitted to the Tic Tac UFO. They said, I don't know where it came from, what it is, but it happened. We have it on video. They're getting a little bit more open, you know, and now that we're ex- exploring the moon
Mm-hmm.
more, uh, Mars, China is, they want to build a base on the moon. Uh, it's getting close. I mean, if they find an extraterrestrial type structure on the moon, you can't keep the Chinese quiet about it. I feel they're going to open their mouth and they're going to say something. Or a private corporation
Mm.
exploring the moon. Somebody is going to say something. It is disclosure. I feel is getting very close.
Paul, in the next minute, what advice would you have for somebody who wants to be a paranormal investigator after hearing our interview tonight?
Almost anybody can really become a paranormal investigator, but kind of watch what other paranormal investigators do. Your best solid evidence is, let's say, a photograph of an anomaly,
Mm-hmm.
um, EVPs. Uh, there's really not too much where you can deny that if you can get an EVP. Um, Watch what other ghost hunters do. Kind of kick back, watch them, be an observer. And then when you feel like you can actually conduct yourself and become a paranormal investigator, let the lead investigator kind of watch what you're doing, where you're comfortable, where you can do things on your own. So,
Well, Paul, as usual, thank you for joining us tonight on the X Zone, Paul. Um, and for sharing your stories, your insights, and expertise, and, for telling us all about Halo Paranormal Investigations, your past as a law enforcement officer and the Disco King. Exonation, if tonight's exploration of the paranormal piqued your interest, be sure to visit our website for more episodes, information, and resources at exonradiotv.com or xzbn.net. To find out more about Paul, just Google Paul Dale Roberts and all the information will pop up there. So until next time, keep your curiosity alive and your mind open, because here in the X Zone, reality often blurs with the extraordinary. From everyone here to everyone out there, good night, stay vigilant, and always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.
Night was dark in the mountains, as the story goes. An Indian tale brought him out where only the Sasquatch goes.